Set in a world filled with fabric fields and yarn jungles, Woven looks like it's going to be the year's most charming 3D platformer. But look again, because this isn't the next Mario or Jak and Daxter clone, but rather this new release from Alterego Games has a lot more in common with point-and-click adventure games like Sam & Max and Monkey Island. That's an odd choice, but it ultimately leads to a gentle quest with a lot of great world building that is the perfect entry point for gamers looking to get into the graphic adventure genre. This is the story of Stuffy, a dim-witted stuffed animal who just wants to explore the soft and stitched-together world around him, but is too afraid. Stuffy's life changes one day when he runs into Glitch, a flying mechanical creature with the spotlight for an eye. While our hero just wants to look around, Glitch is determined to regain his memory and uncover the secrets of this world. There are all these visions of mechanical spiders and other creatures causing havoc, but what does it all mean? Glitch seems to think that the answers are on the moon, so the two unlikely friends work together to figure out what's going on. Now, what Glitch quickly discovers is that Stuffy is able to reinvent himself with different animal designs. This isn't just about cosmetics, as shifting between a cat, bird, giraffe, pig, elephant, and more all have specific gameplay perks. For example, some animals will be able to use their legs to jump on ledges, while others can stomp on the ground. You'll find that birds can hover over water and sing to attract other animals, while cats are good at picking things up or pushing buttons. There are 8 different abilities to use to solve the various puzzles, so the trick is to constantly change back and forth between the stuffed animals in an effort to make it through all 5 chapters. While the focus is largely on Stuffy, Glitch also has a few abilities worth talking about. The flying spotlight creature will be able to illuminate caves, which not only helps our hero find his way through dark areas, but also reveals parts of the story and history through cave paintings. More importantly, Glitch can scan different patterns, animals, and patches, which you can then use as fabric for Stuffy. This is usually for cosmetics, but sometimes locating the right pattern actually matters. It's the only way to blend in with the environment and trick certain enemies, so a lot of Woven involves the odd couple exploring the yard-filled world looking for fabrics to collect. Now, probably the most important thing Glitch does is power all of the machines sitting around. Without Glitch, Stuffy wouldn't be able to change shapes in the knitting machine. And it's actually more than that, because Glitch also powers the devices that spit out the blueprints. It's here where the adventure shifts into a weird rhythm mini-game, where the goal is to move these 4 hands into the right positions to tap out all the notes. This mini-game is a little repetitive after a while, and it isn't very challenging, but I like that it fits into the greater lore of this world. It's actually the level of world building that I liked the most about Woven. Although I was initially annoyed by the constant cinemas and the far too chatty narrator, I was eventually won over by the mystery and mythology. This is a game that gets a whole lot better once you're allowed to explore without worrying about falling into another cinema. And to be honest, I was genuinely surprised by how emotional and attached I got to some of these characters. I'm still not a big fan of the narrator repeating the same lines over and over, and there are certainly times when it feels like there's a new cinema every 3 steps, but there's no question that the story ramps up in a big way and ends on a high note. Unfortunately, a lot of the fun of this game comes down to how much you like searching for hard-to-find patterns. There's no going back to past chapters once you've advanced the story, so if you want to find all the fabric and blueprints, you'll either need to search every single part of the level or start over from the very beginning. The good news is that you can miss most of the collectibles without it actually impacting the progression. But let me tell you, a lot of the game feels like an elaborate scavenger hunt. Part of the reason for this is because the puzzles aren't especially challenging. In fact, this is among the easiest adventure games I've ever played. There's not much mystery about what you're supposed to do, since Glitch is always there to remind Stuffy what to do next by using a thought bubble. The most challenging element comes from locating a knitting machine or finding the hidden gears. Even when things begin to get complicated, Woven is good about showing you exactly where you're supposed to go to solve the puzzle. This is an easy game that feels like it's aimed at a younger audience. So longtime fans of the point-and-click genre may be underwhelmed by the simple adventure. Speaking of which, I was also let down by the graphics. While there are definitely times when the knitted look is convincing, it often comes across as artificial and not in the right kind of way. It's also oddly repetitive, which I didn't expect. Some of the later levels are so big that you can't help but see the same visual flourishes used multiple times. And it doesn't help that Stuffy never looks like he's interacting with this world. Thankfully, the variety in locations and animal types helps to make up for some of this, and I was ultimately won over by the design aesthetic and construction by the end of the game. Although it's a bit on the easy side, Woven is a charming and gentle adventure game with a compelling story and a customizable character. The non-violent journey often feels like it's aimed at younger audiences, but also dabbles in darker subject matter. The problem is the easy difficulty, which often feels like the game is constantly holding your hand. It's also frustrating that you have to start the game all over from the beginning just to find all the patterns and stuffed animal blueprints. Woven is a solid game that is ultimately marred by easy puzzles and a narrator who won't stop talking. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. In fact, we have a playlist with almost 600 reviews, so go ahead and check that out. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite adventure game? Yeah, that's a broad question that can be anything from a point-and-clicker to a role-playing game to like 50 other things. I can't wait to see your picks in the comments below. In other news, I'm doing my best to work through a crowded review season, so expect my take on Roof Raid shortly. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,